Welcome to our energy cleansing. What I want you guys to do now is just turn your attention to the chat box. I'm going to be sending a link in there. It's got some great information about how you guys can set yourselves up. We are going to get started in maybe a minute or two just to give people time to trickle in. So if you'd like to begin by just boiling some water, if you'd like to make some tea, just to kind of really make this experience even more cozy, even more relaxing. Hi there, welcome. Hey, Veer, it's nice to see you in here. All right, so we'd like to begin by welcoming all of you guys to our wonderful experience today. We are going to be having a fantastic time together, so we really are very happy to see you all here. Now, if you don't already know me, my name is Charlotte. I'm so pleased that all of you guys are here with us. We might be joined by one or two more people just kind of as we go along, but for right now, why don't we get started by just kind of setting some expectations for today and just touching base a little bit about some ways that you can prepare yourselves for our experience. So first things first, there should be a tea bag inside of the kit that you received. And so if you would like to, you can go ahead and brew that. We just invite you guys to do this because it really enhances the coziness, the warmth, and the relaxation of today's experience. So if you would like to do that, you can just go ahead and boil a little bit of water and start up brewing that tea. Now, another thing is that it's very important to find a really nice quiet place free of distraction. I know that that can be hard to carve out in our very busy lives, but it's a really great thing to do for yourself, and it's a perfect time to do it today. Now, some other things is that you'll just need a couple of those little materials over there on the side. So that mug and the kettle is of course for your tea. But one thing I do want to turn your attention to is that it's important to have a piece of paper and a pen. We're going to be setting some intentions later on, and so it's good to have those materials. And then finally, that access to microwave or stove, that's of course again for the tea. And so once you have those things under control, you'll be ready to go. So let's just take a moment. We're just going to talk about our experience today, just so that you guys know exactly what to expect. So the first thing is that you are going to brew that tea, of course, and sip on it while you're sitting and relaxing with us. And now here's the stuff that we're going to be covering in our live demonstration. So the first thing is that we're going to be doing some smudging practice. We're also going to be setting some intentions, lighting a candle together, and then we're finally going to do a body scan and some meditation. That will be how we close out our experience today. It's going to be really relaxing, really warm, and so we're very excited to get going. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. And now I'm going to turn it over to our professional energy cleanser. So if you guys want to go ahead and give a really nice warm welcome to my friend and soon to be yours, Andres.
Hi guys, how are you? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. It is a pleasure to be with all of you. Thank you for taking the time to just connect with yourselves. sometimes in our chaotic lives, it's very hard to find just a moment for ourselves. So I'm very grateful to be here with you all. I hope that in today's live demo, we're gonna you'll learn a new practice. If you weren't exposed to this before, maybe this could be like a good introduction um, for you to like just explore and then personalize this practice. Energy cleansing and specifically sage and Palo Santo are some things that are very like personal. So take this as an introduction and nothing else. My name is Andres again. I am calling actually from New York City. It's a very cold day today, so it's very cozy right here to be with you all. Um, in your box, actually, we'll start with that. I'll go over some of the items that you should have received and talk about them as we go along. So first, you'll find an interesting feather. This is usually an eagle feather. The Native Americans use this to symbolize the free spirit, but also to symbolize the air. For them, all of it is about the elements and how the elements is actually what makes an individual, right? We are water, earth, air, fire. So when they do ceremonies, they connect, and that is something that we can all do. Now, you should have also found a Palo Santo. Uh, this is native to the Amazon. It's native to South America. In my country where I'm from originally, Ecuador, my grandma actually had this in her backyard because the trees would constantly just be falling and there would be tons of these. So it's very funny for me sometimes when I see them for sale here because when I was a little kid, I just saw them on the floor. Um, Next, you should find some sage. Now, this is a particular kind of white sage. It has a lot of antibiotic properties. It's actually good if you're ever having like issues with a cold or the flu. It's actually there's been a lot of studies that show how this actually can help with respiratory problems and to prevent kind of like the cold. Um, Another item they should have found is a bundle of sage with cinnamon, or it could be something else. Sometimes they put a lavender in it. You can put any type of thing. This is just kind of enhances um, the aroma of when you're burning it. This particular kind is called sangre de drago, dragon's blood. And now this tree grows in the Amazon, and when you cut through it, it releases like this red goo that a lot of people say looks like blood. So that's why it's called red dragon. Funny story about this is a couple of years ago, I did a Kambo ceremony where they like pinch your arm and they put like frog's venom. And through that process, you purge, you throw up, and you kind of like let go of all the stuff that you've been holding on. Anyways, when I did the ceremony, I was afraid that I was going to get a scar because I have a tendency to get keloids on my skin. And then the shaman told me to put sangre de drago. They also sell this as a liquid, as an ointment. And he was like, just stab it and you won't get a scar. And lo and behold, like I never got a scar. So that's something that I like to share because I didn't know there were such things like that, especially like natural things that could like prevent scarring. So yeah, you can buy it online. You can buy it in like sometimes I've seen them in natural stores. They have like dragon's blood or sangre de drago specifically. Um, Next, you should have all received a shell and a just like a holder for your shell. You can use this when it's not in use. I actually tend to recommend to not put it on while we're doing the staging because it's not the most sturdy. It's more like display purposes. So I use it just for when it's displayed so that it doesn't fall off. And you know, if you have your sage and your ballot to light up, it doesn't make a mess. And then lastly, you would have gotten a box of matches, some tea, and a journal for today's intention setting. But you can use it as a journal. It's beautiful. And so that's kind of what you should have received in your box. Like I said, in the ceremony, everything is about originally everything's about connecting with the elements and with yourself, right? There's a lot of history in this practice. There's there's a tradition that's a little bit different in South America and North America. So in North America, a lot of the saging, a lot of the energy cleansing that they use the feather. In South America, they don't really use the feather. It's not very common. So that's one of the main differences between that practice. But again, every tribe and every Native American tribe that did this had their own particular thing. And then within that, people personalize this ceremony. So nowadays, people are understanding like all this stuff that the natives were talking about, like cleansing your aura. It's not just like, like magic, and it's not like just like this woo, but there's actually quantum science, not quantum science now has proven how we all have like, an aura, we have an energy body, and how certain plants, the actual smoke, the ions and the atoms in that smoke can attach to different parts of our aura and cleanse it away. It's kind of like Febreze, like the odor cleanser. If you spray it on the on the in the air, it'll attach itself to the heavy like pesky smells and then bring them down and they fall into the floor. So in the same way, this is what sacred plants like sage and palo santo do to our aura. So that's why I like to think about of these items as kind of like your soap, but for like your energy body. Um, so for that reason as well, I personally don't recommend that you share this with other people. Everyone should be able to have their own piece. For sage, you actually don't have to burn the whole bundle. You can also do like peel off like a little branch at a time, and it saves and it doesn't allow um, that much smoke to be wasted, because when you do light this one up, it'll smoke a lot. Um, so that's something else. Also, in nowadays, we also know that this cleansing of the aura is something that should be done, whenever you feel like heavy and sick. We can do it when we move into a new space, when we buy a new car, when we after a long day that we've been with other people. Especially if you live in a city and you go into the train, you get the same feeling. I like to describe it as if after a long day you go and shower, right? You just all these things cleanse our body. So the same way that the water cleanses our body, holy smoke cleanses our aura. So we're going to feel the same way. Our energy body actually can be cleansed in many ways. This is just one of the techniques. But as you know, if you go into the sun, for example, in the beach, that sunlight will also clear your aura and your energy bodies. uh, Wind as well. If you have ever been like at the beach or like by a mountain, and you just catch the drift of the wind, that is actually have been shown that it also cleanses our aura. So if we're having like negative vibes attached to us, or if we're feeling sick, or if we just been like in a rut and we're like just not feeling well, like days at the beach, days out in nature, or doing a ceremony like this in your house can help you. So that's why it's very important. That's why it has, for me, has changed my life. It's something that I actually do on a constant basis now. And so I'm excited that this information can be passed on and we can share with our loved ones, because I do think that as we um, learn more about this, we're going to integrate this more into our daily lives. And it's not going to be just like a spiritual thing, but it's going to be something that we all do, because it's something kind of like showering. It's not like showering, it's like a spiritual practice. Showering is just something that we all do, right? Because we understand like, hey, if we're dirty, we wash ourselves, we put soap, it gets rid of stuff, right? It gets rid of yuckiness. Um, so before we start, I see that we have some people coming in. Welcome, welcome. Um, as we go along, we're gonna do two things to prepare for this. So we're gonna do a small breath work session where we're just gonna slow down our breath. Um, then I will actually do the cleanse with you guys, show you how to do a cleanse with sage and then with Palo Santo. And then we'll do an intention setting. Um, and that intention setting is for us to go into meditation, into a deeper meditation, and so that it can help us manifest or clear whatever that we want to do. Or if we just want to have peace, that is something that can also be an intention. Um, all right, guys. So to get started, we are going to sit straight up on our chairs. If you're able to sit on the floor, you can also sit cross-legged. If not, you can just have your feet down flat on the floor. Um, Wrists on your thighs. You can have them up or down. Doesn't matter. Just close your eyes. And the practice is just for us to slow down our breath, right? So that we can connect better with ourselves. And so just close your eyes or have your gaze towards the floor and then slowly guide yourself into a deeper state by paying attention to your breath. So slowly breathe in. 1, 2, 3. You can hold 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 4, 3, 2. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 3, 2. Breathe out. Hold. Breathe in. Hold at the top. Breathe out. Hold. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. And then just have this slowly natural rhythm to your breath, right? You don't want to have this be something that is very mental. You kind of just want to go into a deeper state, but you're just very mindful of your breath. Feel the breath, the air in your lungs. Is it cold? Is it warm? How much of it do you hold? How are you breathing out through your nose, through your mouth? And just be mindful of it. And just feel how your body, your heart rate just starts to slow down. Just savor that delicious air. Breathe out. And just once more. Right. You can start opening your eyes again, wiggle your feet, your toes, your fingers. And now, with that said, I'd like to invite us to set up an intention. Now that we're a little more calm, you should have also received a little tea light candle uh, and some matches or the lighter if you have one, if it's easier for you. Um, and so the reason why the natives and I like to actually light up a candle is because once again, you imbibe one of the elements that make us all up, which is fire, into your space, right? So the tea that you're sipping also holds a special meaning because it's representing of water, right? Much of what we are is actual water. So as you sip this tea, you're creating this like little ceremony kind of for yourself, where you're just going deeper into what really makes you, right? What really makes all of us, right? And so the more elements you can connect with, the deeper this meditation and this connection that we're all having with ourselves will be. Okay. And so for today's intention setting, since it is the new year, I think it would be a good idea for all of us to set two intentions, please. One of something that we're letting go, right? And one of something that we are welcoming, that we are allowing in the new year, in this new year. Um, the stage will be used to kind of cleanse ourselves and give way to what we're letting go. And then the Palo Santo, when we do this, we'll say cleanse ourselves, and this will allow us and represent the thing that we are allowing to come into our lives this year. Okay, so I'll give you just a minute or two for you to write this down. Think about what is it that you are a block that you've had this past year, something that you've been stumbling, or something that you just no longer resonates with you, no longer is working out for you. Um, Write those things down. I'll give you a minute or two. Uh, if we can put so perfect, thank you. And then as you think about this, try to connect with your heart, right? Really be honest, really be sincere with yourselves. What is it that you're letting go? What is it that you already have had enough? Um, that will not only
Siento tu
benefit you,
dolor,
but everyone around you.
hermano, que yo guardo el mismo
And with the
sabor
same
que
intention, what is
amar.
something that your heart is yearning, desiring,
Tiene un poder
that you've postponed for
infinito
for forever, and that this is the year. This is the year that you're allowing that
y
you're
no
uh,
sabe
gonna make
cómo
it happen.
compartirlo.
So connect with those.
Creíste que
Be honest with
lo
yourself.
otro está
Don't
en
think
el
about this too much.
mundo.
Just connect.
Cierra los ojitos, ve a lo profundo. Sabe bien que estás aquí. Y esa rueda va a morir al fin. Y todo mi canto será para ti. Con este sonido que me nace aquí.
Okay, guys. So
Cantaré,
I will share my
cantaré.
intention with you all this year. My intention, or something actually, let me start with that. Something that I have let go is this believing, not believing in magic, right? I think as I grew up, as I grew older, I started to believe in or label things as like, that's woohoo, that doesn't exist. But I realized that in the moments that I've had most fun in my life, there were the moments that I saw them as magical, right? Whether that be something serendipity, whether that be something that really exciting that happened in my life, a person that I met, right? And I realized that uh, life gets a lot more interesting when we believe in magic, right? And so I'm I'm letting that go. That belief that in everything has to be rational, right? And with the same hand, I'm allowing magic to come into my life. Um, so that is my intention. That is my sharing. Um, I hope that you guys can find something that's inspiring and that's something that has been weighing on you that you're ready to let go. With that said, we're going to start the actual saging process. Um, if you guys can grab your sage, I'm going to grab mine that was already used because I like to conserve as much as possible. And also, if you, like I said before, if you burn all of it, it'll smoke a lot. So I only burn this the whole thing when it's a when I'm saging my space, but when it's like just myself, I just grab a little piece and then sage that. And also what I tend to do, you don't have to, but I tend to use the same fire from the candle to light this up. All the natives used to believe that fire was alive, so you just keep expanding it if you use the same light. So now we're gonna start. I usually like to do this standing up, but because of the setup, we're gonna do it sitting down. We're gonna start at the top. You can go down either the left or the right. Just gonna go tracing your body, right? You're gonna go around. You can do it in circles if you like, or just straight. But you want to focus on the palm of your hands because that's an energy point, right? A lot of the ancient and ancestral teachings show that our hands are conducive of energy and we can actually heal people. Jesus healed people with his palms. So I tend to go from the top down my arms, right? Down all your body. Another power point is the bottom of your feet. So you can also focus energy there and time there, have the smoke that uh, cover those areas. And as you go up the other side, right? And as you do this, you can do it a couple of times, one, two, three times. And as you do that, have in mind your intention as well. what is it that you're letting go, right? So this is like where you get to combine both aspects of like, okay, this is not working for me. You know, this I don't believe in magic. Everything has to make sense. Doesn't work for me no longer. It doesn't resonate with me anymore. So I'm letting go of all that, right? And you go around, you can also use a feather. When you do it to yourself, I like to actually kind of just blow towards my face. And I personally like the smell. So, and when you're done, you can just put it down on your shell. It should turn off by itself. If it doesn't, you can just, smush it against the shell and it should turn it off. But I like to leave it on. And then next we're gonna have the Palo Santo. I'm gonna use one that's already been used. And the same thing. I use a candle to light this piece up. And usually the Palo Santo takes a little bit longer to catch fire, but when it does, it catches a lot of fire. So just be mindful of that. And as we light the Palo Santo, we're gonna have our second intention in mind. What is it that we're welcoming, right? Another tip is if you are able to, I know that, for example, I am in the bitter cold right now, so I can't have my windows open because it's very, very cold. But when you use the sage, you can have the windows closed. But when you have Palo Santo, you want to have the windows open so that you're kind of symbolically allowing also new energy, right? Not symbolically, but also physically. When you open the windows, new air, new stuff comes in, and so you want to have the windows open. With the sage, you actually want to have the windows closed because, and again, we're doing the same process, but just this time with Palo Santo. But as I was saying, we want to have the windows closed and the doors closed when we use sage because you want the smoke to attach itself to anything that's negative in your aura so that it can like pull it down. And then the Palo Santo is gonna kind of like seal that and it's gonna neutralize your aura. And that's what allows positive ions, positive things to come to you. And that's when we open our window. Again, you can use a feather to move this towards you. And you could do it a couple of times, but there's no limit. A lot of people just do it once. I tend to do it a couple of times, or sometimes just until I feel better. Um, like I said, this is all very personalized. I tend to do this in the mornings before I meditate, or at night, or if I had like a really bad day, I'll just come off of the shower and I literally just start saging and cleansing myself. That's how I view it now, right? And also the smell, just the smell will relax you right away, anyways. Um, so that's something that I tend to do. All right, guys. Now we're going to go into our final part of the demo, um, which is all this. Where we are doing all this cleansing in today's session, so that we can go into a deeper meditation. Right. Um, Creating that space and through meditation is what's going to actually um, allow us to manifest, allow us to connect with ourselves, right? In that moment of stillness, because when there's noise, when we're moving, our mind is active. And so there's no way that we're connecting with ourselves on a deeper level. So all this process, you could do it just before you go out, or like I said, it doesn't have to be this way, but for today's class, it's the intention is to cleanse ourselves and to have those two intentions in our mind so that we can seal them and put them inside in our as we meditate. So if Charlie, you can help me with the meditation music. Please sit up straight again if you can, and are able to, you can sit on the floor cross-legged or in the couch. You can move your head around. Move shoulders back and forth, up and down in circles. Close your eyes or have your gaze towards the floor. The palms on this meditation, we want to have them up, facing up, open, relaxed. Your spine as straight as possible, right? And we can also connect like we did earlier with our breath, but this time we're just going to observe the breath. We're not going to control it. We're just going to breathe, let it do its thing, right? And just slowly quiet your mind. How do you quiet your mind? Just by letting it be. Don't tell it to quiet down, just observe it. You are the sky, and your thoughts are the clouds. And you're just observing those clouds pass by. No judgment, no criticism, no classification. They're not good or bad. You just observe those thoughts one by one. And if you get distracted by either of them, just let it go. Don't judge it. Don't judge yourself. You're not the one that's producing these thoughts. These thoughts are just coming. You're the antenna. You're the receiver. And as you quiet out your mind, that intention that we set wants to let go, and what is it that you want to bring in? It's already there in your subconscious. You don't have to do anything. Your stillness and your silence, it's what's allowing for those intentions to really soak in and seal. The same way we're not aware of how we breathe, of how our heart pumps blood, of how our muscles move us in ways that we can't comprehend when we walk, when we run. In the same way, trust in this magic, that the intention that you set has been received and will occur. And your job is just to allow. Through the act of meditation, we empty ourselves. The more empty we get, the more we can allow, we can receive, the more that can flow into our lives. If we're full, there's no space for anything to come in. And so our job is more of one to process and see what's working, what's no longer working, and simply let it go. You don't have to fight it. Just don't give it energy. Don't give it attention. Don't give it thought. All right, guys, we can slowly come back. Wiggle our toes, our fingers. Welcome back. I hope you guys had a really good time connecting with yourselves. I know this is a quick meditation and it's just, as a demo. Um, but I suggest, the more you practice, the more time you want to spend doing this. A couple of years ago when I started, I couldn't sit still and I couldn't sit in silence for more than like 5 minutes. And now I feel like if I don't sit in stillness and silence, I'll go crazy. I have to connect and be at peace at least once a week. Um, and sitting like 45 an hour, it's normal to me now, but it's taking years for me to get to this stage. Some people have it more naturally, but for me, it was very difficult. And so I hope that this was just a little bit of support and help of a way that you can do to get into a deeper meditation and to have a practice that you can share with family, with friends. Like I said, as you practice this, make it, personalize it, make it yours. Um, Sometimes I have crystals and rocks around me. Sometimes I do this before journaling. Um, there's many ways that you can do this. Like I said, you can do this when after you've been with friends and family, and you just want to have like your aura cleanse. That's a good time. Um, but yes, that is pretty much all from me. I will pass it on. I hope you guys had found some value in this. Thank you so much for your time. Uh, I will sign off here, and I will pass it on to my co-host, Charlotte. Thank you all.
Wow, thank you so much, Andres. That was wonderful. I hope that you all had a really great time. I know that I did. It's always so peaceful. It's so nice to carve out this little bit of time to relax a little bit with each other. So thank you all so much for being here with us. The last things that we need to do are just go over a couple of little things, some more events like this in our future. And of course, I would love to drop a link into our chat box. This is a link to our upcoming crafter community events, which of course are more free workshops like this one. And finally, we have our social media. So if you would like to go ahead and follow us over there, we would love to see you. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is just share my screen one more time, just to kind of show you all some last little things that we have from Foodcraft. So why don't we go ahead and take a little peek at this? So we have lots of stuff coming. We have our crafter community events just like we did today. So a free virtual workshop open to all. Now we have one every single month, and so we would love to tell you guys about what is coming up. So we have a couple of things here. Number one is that we would love it if you guys marked your calendars now. We have one coming in February, which is sooner than you think, believe it or not. We have our furoshiki bag making, so that will be on February 5th. And then March 5th, we have our bubble tea making. So we'd love to see you there too. It's always a pleasure. Now, we also want to get you guys ready for our New Year's events. We have our 2025 New Year events. If you would like to join us, virtual and hybrid events with kids delivered worldwide, we would love to see you. We can do themed events, all kinds of stuff like that. So please come and join us. And finally, we have our top virtual events that we're pretty excited about that we would love to share with all
Oh,
of you if you're thinking of something for the new year. So first of all, we have mooncake and tea tasting. We also have chili garlic oil making, mindful doodling, and of course, cookie decorating. So we would love to see you there. Thank you all so much for joining us. We hope that you had a wonderful time. I hope that you all feel very, very relaxed. And I hope that you all learned something. I always do from Andres. So thank you all so much for coming. And we hope that you
thank
have
you.
a wonderful new year. So thank you all so much. Bye bye, guys. See you at the next
Bye,
one.
guys.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.